for everything that's lemon in this. But the string is this long. What's all the rest of this? Junk mail? No. It's the gene of every other species within the genus lies within each. Oh, another sacred law. All is one and one is all. So, if this is the truth, and it is, what is it that's making it express itself as lemon, lime, orange, tangerine? Environment, certainly. Latitude and attitude. And attitude means biocommunication with plants. Now, I have reams of books of the proof of biocommunications with plants long before we forgot that that existed. We have now remembered it, discovered it like science.
Before we got smart.
Before we got smart.
This is how they used to do it.
This is how they used to do it and rediscovered it. Since then, using that same principle, my mother one day, 2 years after I planted a lime tree in the front, and we'll go look at this lime tree. My mother said, I want a lemon tree in the front yard. Without one hesitation, I walked immediately up to the lime tree and said, Mom wants a lemon tree in the front yard. And so I fed the tree as abundantly as I did the one around it. Nobody was more surprised when my next crop was all of the nasturtiums that grow around it hybrided. I'd never seen that happen. I had reds, whites, yellows, but they weren't mixing. Then suddenly I had these ones that are all mixed and dots and this, and they were delicious, just delicious. Then the whole tree produced the perfect green, round lime, which it had produced for 2 years, only exclusively this. Next to that was a green, pooched out belly button, lemon, poochy skin, green, lemon lime. The next fruit was a perfectly round lime characteristic skin, but absolutely yellow, with a green interior. And then a yellow lemon, pooched out belly button, rough skin. We did it. Now it's taken place. And now, not only did we get species differentiation from branch to branch, we also got fruit to fruit. Amazing.
Well, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed you've got a rose here. Is that part of the permaculture?
Yes, absolutely.
So, but you can't eat those, can you?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
really?
Absolutely. The roses are delicious. Yeah.
Well, I'll have to try one of those.
Right. Now, these are the reds in back here. The whites in front. Look at this. Now, you chew the little fiber. Now, look at this. If I had a scratch or something. Oh, there we go. Here's a scratch. And what am I doing? I'm rubbing rose oil into my skin. And I chewed it first. A little saliva cleaning this nice Indian cure of scratches on the way. So it's good. And then drop it on the trail. Underneath here, we have clover. We're walking on the clover field. But I put this down so that the birds can. Now this is cornucopia. The cornucopia is part of the sacred geometry of the garden. If you'll notice, this post is just right at the point of the snail spiral, which then comes down and aims in these cascading ponds, pond number 1, pond number 2, and it aims at the back door. So when we open the back door and we open the windows on the top of the house, you'll get a thermal siphon. The hot air wants to escape out the top windows, and it draws the oxygen, air, and moisture into the house, and we can completely change the air in the house in less than 5 minutes.
Now, people have found you just because of the oxygen level out here, haven't they?
Yes. In fact, one of our most fun little stories, I had a lady show up at our front yard. She was going to come visit the garden, and she drove from Scottsdale to here on the freeways where you got about 15% oxygen in the worst times and 17 best then. She was having an asthma attack at the front door, wanting to know where the nearest hospital was so she could go get, because she had left her inhaler. I marched her immediately into the back, set her down. The pond was full of water, and I had a little fountain going in it. I said, sit down here, took her shoes off, put her feet in the fountain, and I said, I'll get you a cup of tea. It was later in the year, and at that time, when it's fully grown here, you can't walk 6 feet without disappearing. I would be disappearing down the path with the tomatoes and things that are here. So I go get the tea, which is already made, and I'm walking back out, and in only the time it takes to pour the tea and walk back out, I'm walking on the trail coming up to the pond, and she doesn't realize it, but she's chirping like a bird. She's chirping because the birds were singing around her. And as I come up behind her, I turned and she looked up at me, and she had these big crocodile tears of joy in her face, and she was like on the edge of orgasm, going, I never had, through all the doctors and medical, never had an asthma attack relief as fast as I am in now. And I said, yeah, you're in 22 to 26% oxygen right here. And now, not only that, the prana and love of all of the food and everything that's around you. Now you feel good. So she calls this place the Sacred Garden.